So I was just out riding around, and what I wanted to get was kind of a second follow-up video on the full suspension bike, show the suspension working, take it on some jumps, and unfortunately the local park where there's a small track that would be perfect for just that is closed. I think so I wanted to get a little more riding footage on this new bike. We'll see if we can figure out how to work this camera while we're at it. Oh, look at these crazy people. How are you?
Good. Do you want to see our killer dogs in the bed? It'd be good for your video.
I don't hear any killer dogs. You're on 2 cameras now, by the way. This one and that one. That does not look like a killer dog. They act like killer dogs.
Yeah. 7 pounds of fury right there.
I've got the 360 camera up here. We'll see how that works. First time kind of testing it out. So here's an interesting thing I wanted to show you guys. There's more to this bike than what was in the initial video. So I felt like there were a few questions and things that were unanswered. So here's one: calories. Because this bike has a torque sensor, it knows how hard I'm pedaling. So it actually can give you an estimate of calories. So that's pretty cool. Some people didn't catch it. They were asking a lot in the comments, what's the top speed of this bike? Let's find out. Well, I got up to about 33 or 34, I think, before I had to slow down. So here's another flat stretch. Pedaling, throttle, squeezing out everything it's got. I'm running out of gears. I'm gonna call it 35. Somebody had also asked about the screen and if you can change it from eco or sport mode. You just hold that button right there for a few seconds. You can see the power jump, or change color rather. Range. So this is kind of cool. The battery is always an estimate. We've got the typical gauge up in the corner. We've got our actual voltage. But then based on how you're riding the bike, it actually gives you an estimate on how much range you have left. I am gonna keep my distance from everybody. No touchy. So I'm just headed over to the local park because there's a few trails over here that I think we can get some good action shots of the suspension on, as long as they're not too muddy. A little muddy back in the trees here. Okay, so there's the dog park. All right, so here's where this could get fun. check it out, see if it's slick or not. And, oh, bike park closed. So, I came in the back way, didn't see the sign, but I see it there. I'm gonna be respectful of the sign and not tear up the trails. It says it's closed, it's closed. It's disappointing. So here's the pump track over here. You can see, basically, if you don't know what a pump track is, the idea is you can get around the entire track and keep going without ever pedaling. You can just use your momentum and your body to go up and down and get around the track. And really great for your bike skills, bike handling, a lot of fun, but unfortunately, closed. I don't know if they put the signs there saying it's closed because of the weather. I'm guessing they may have, or if it's because of everything else that's going on. So probably a combination of things. So I guess since that's the state of things at the park, just gonna do a loop and kind of head back home. We'll let off a bit, see what happens. Stop sign. Balance, balance, and go. All right, slight downhill. We actually got it up to 38, 39, and I can't do anything with my pedaling, but I can tuck. So we're doing 30, 38, 39 miles an hour. 39. Don't you move. Woo! Weren't expecting that, were ya? Well, if I was up in town right now, I'd probably go hit some of the trails there. There's probably more spots I could go to. I was hoping to hit up the local park, take some jumps, but not happening. It's shut down. It's closed. Off. I'm sure the people on the road are wondering what the heck I'm doing, not pedaling and almost keeping up with them. Fun part about an e-bike, you can do whatever you want. You want to pedal, get exercise? Great. Which this bike does surprisingly well with. Bikes are shipping out like crazy. We're really keeping very busy, even with what's happening right now. So if you ordered a bike from Bolton e-bikes recently, at least as far as when I'm filming this video, we're still shipping bikes out. We're still getting product out. If anything changes, I will make sure to send out an email or put something on the Bolton e-bikes website. Why is there a red bicycle behind me that doesn't look like it has a motor at all? Well, I thought about, if I'm kind of getting back to the basics, you know, what would I be doing today if I wasn't either just hanging out at home or working on electric bikes, if I was doing another business and effectively I was shut down. And one of the things I probably would be doing if I wasn't into electric bikes, I might be just getting some fresh air and riding my regular old mountain bike. So I thought I would show you guys kind of an inside look what bicycle I have that's not electric for once. And I grew up riding a hardtail, so no suspension in the rear, just front suspension fork, Gary Fisher mountain bike. And I had that bike for like 10 years straight. It lasted me really well, but it was outdated. A lot can happen in 10 years in the bicycle industry. So recently I decided to pick up a new mountain bike for when I just want to get back to the basics and just get on the trails, have something light, nimble, get some really good exercise. So here it is. This is from a company that you probably haven't heard of. Some companies online that, you know, just ship bikes. They don't really have retail stores, and some people don't like that because of the whole service aspect and what if you need to work on it. Obviously, I'm not afraid to work on my own bicycles, so that's not a problem. Here's a couple things I liked about them. The components they spec'd on their bike were really good. So if you're looking at other name brand bikes that you've heard of, I feel like the price was a lot lower for what you could get. The second thing was it wasn't just like an out-of-the-box generic bike. Basically what they do is you send them your measurements, so your inseam, you know, the length of your arms, all these different things. They have them on their website when you go to check out. And what they do is they spec out the size of the frame you should have, basically the stem, your handlebars, any little things to make the bike fit right for you. They then finish off the build that way, and then they box up your bike and ship it out. So it may take a little bit longer. I think it took a couple of weeks or so, you know, to actually have it shipped out. But somebody actually took my measurements and said, this is the bike we think you'd be comfortable on. And then there's some other options too. Here's the kind of the stock things that I went with. This is called the Wasatch Peak. This has a SRAM Eagle drivetrain. So this is a 1x12. You can see this tiny little sprocket in the front, and then this massive gear in the back for climbing the hills. I had some friends and people that were worried, like, oh, 1x12, you're not going to have enough gears, but that is enough. I can climb anything. It really is awesome, and it makes things really simple. It keeps things clean up on the handlebars because I've got my brakes, which are also the SRAM brand of hydraulic brakes. I've got my shifter here, and there's nothing else going on. I do have a GoPro that's mounted on there. That obviously doesn't need to be on there. And then on the left side, you just have a brake and one other lever. Some of you will know what that is immediately, but I'll come back to that in a minute. I went with the 29-inch wheels. One of the things I had them add also, you can buy it set up ready for tubeless, so you can convert it yourself, or they'll actually just set the wheels up, set up tubeless for you and ship it out that way. So no tubes in these. Basically that means you save a little bit of weight, but more so there's less rolling resistance because there's actually friction when that tube expands and contracts every time the wheel goes around. So it makes the bike a little bit faster. Not that I really care, I'm not racing with it or anything, but I just wanted a nice handling bike. Now back to that lever. Why is my seat so low right now? And I want to show this off because I think what this is made for is awesome, and most people say that once you buy one of these, basically you would never go back to not having one, and I can kind of agree with that. It's really nice. I like it. But here, this is a seat dropper post, so that means that I push this lever when I'm sitting on the bike, the seat drops down. When I get into more technical terrain, I need to move around a bit more. You've got more clearance to do that. You can set your body backwards over the rear wheel if you're going down a steep section. And then to put the seat back up, it's just a matter of pressing that lever and boom, back it goes up. Now here's what I think these could be used for that they're not being used for. On e-bikes, let's face it, the average person buying an e-bike is not as young as they used to be. And to get the proper leg extension here, sometimes it's hard to get on the seat there. So what if the seat was all the way down? You can easily get on the bike. Once you're on the bike, you start pedaling, you start moving, then you can push the lever and raise the seat back up to where it's supposed to be. And then you go to stop, you can put the seat back down, makes it easy. I think that is a very useful thing a seat dropper post could do that it's not being utilized for. And I would love to offer seat dropper posts for electric bikes for that reason. Now here's why I haven't. This was, I think, if I remember correctly, this was a $200 option on the bike, so not cheap. But I have a couple of prototypes parts in the shop of a simpler one. Basically the lever is built into the post here instead of being remote, but you can reach down and you can push it and it does the same thing. And instead of $200, you know, we might be less than 50 bucks for something that does that. So if you're interested in that, if you like that idea, please comment, please let me know. I would just be interested to know who thinks that it's a good idea, who would like to use something like that. And if there's enough interest, then I'll pursue that a little bit further. So there you have it. That is my regular mountain bike. I don't have all electric bikes. The full suspension model I was riding in this video does have some similarities to this one, which is why I like it so much. Rock shocks on the front, very similar fork. This one's not as much travel. There's only 2 modifications if you want to know what do I do to a bike to customize it and kind of make it my own. I normally have a saddlebag right here with my tools, but since I was riding around with some camera gear, I've got a backpack on right now, so I don't have it sitting there. Pedals. When I'm mountain biking, I use clipless pedals. That means I'm wearing shoes that clip into the pedals so my feet don't slip off unless I want them to come off. And then I may have customized that head badge a little bit and put one of my own on there. But Fezzari makes some awesome mountain bikes. I like that they're doing a little bit of customization to make sure that you get the right fit. Second thing is, they actually have an e-bike. I have not seen it in person. Based on my experience with this bike, I would love to see one in person. So perhaps I'll have to reach out to them, or if they happen to come across this video, they can reach out to me. We'll make some arrangement where I can test one of those out, because it looks like a really well-made bike. Basically, it's one of their standard models in a way, just an e-bike version of it. So I bet the geometry and everything is really well done. I don't care what kind of bicycle you're riding. I hope you're in a position where you can get out and get some fresh air right now too. So if you have a bicycle of any kind, I don't care what it is, let me know in the comments what you're riding. Obviously I've got Bolton e-bikes. My non-e-bike is a Fezzari. What sort of bicycle are you riding? Just leave a comment below, and I'm gonna randomly pick somebody to win something. I haven't even decided what it's gonna be, to be honest, but I will go through the comments later. We'll announce the winner. I'll pick somebody to win a random thing. Thanks again for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Know that Bolton e-bikes is here for you. We're not going anywhere, and I'll see you again next week.